In a time of legend and myth, one king would rise above all others. From a prophecy that foretold his birth, to a magical sword that revealed his destiny. Join us as we journey through the life of King Arthur, the legendary king who united a fractured land, faced betrayal within his closest ranks, and fought bravely in the epic battle that sealed his fate. But what mysteries lie behind the legend? And could there be more to the story than history remembers? Stay with us as we uncover the untold secrets of Camelot's greatest king. In the ancient kingdom of Britain, a prophecy whispered through the winds, foretelling the birth of a king who would unite the warring factions and bring peace to the land. This king, it was said, would be born under extraordinary circumstances, marked by the intervention of powerful magic. The great wizard Merlin, with his deep foresight, knew that this prophecy held the key to Britain's salvation. He orchestrated the union between King Uther Pendragon and Lady Igraine, ensuring that the child born of their love would be the one destined to fulfill the prophecy. As the kingdom awaited the birth of this miraculous child, Merlin wove a protective spell around Igraine, shielding her from harm and ensuring that no dark forces could interfere. The night Arthur was born, a storm raged across the land, as if nature itself celebrated the arrival of the future king. Uther's joy was boundless, but Merlin knew that Arthur's path would be fraught with challenges. He took the newborn prince away from the castle, placing him in the care of a humble knight named Sir Ector, to protect him from those who would seek to thwart his destiny. Growing up in anonymity, young Arthur knew nothing of his royal lineage. He lived a simple life, learning the values of courage, honor, and humility under Sir Ector's guidance. Yet the prophecy lingered, and Arthur's true identity remained hidden, waiting for the moment when fate would reveal him to the world. As he approached his teenage years, strange dreams began to haunt him. Visions of a grand castle, a shining sword, and a throne that seemed to call his name. Little did he know, these dreams were the echoes of his destiny. One fateful day, a grand tournament was announced, where knights from all over the kingdom would compete for glory. Among the excitement, Merlin placed a mysterious stone in the heart of the city, with a sword embedded deep within it. The inscription on the stone declared that only the rightful king could pull the sword free. Knights and nobles tried in vain to claim the weapon, but none succeeded. As Arthur accompanied Sir Ector and his foster brother Kay to the tournament, he felt an inexplicable pull towards the stone. With a heart full of curiosity and a sense of purpose he could not yet understand, Arthur approached the stone. To everyone's astonishment, he grasped the hilt and effortlessly drew the sword from the stone, fulfilling the ancient prophecy. The crowd fell silent, then erupted in cheers. Merlin stepped forward, revealing Arthur's true identity and proclaiming him the rightful king of Britain. In that moment, Arthur's ordinary life ended, and his extraordinary journey began. As the news of Arthur's miraculous feat spread across the kingdom, skepticism and awe mingled in the hearts of the people. The nobles and knights, who had failed to draw the sword, found it hard to believe that a mere squire could be their destined king. Yet, the undeniable truth of the prophecy could not be ignored. Merlin, ever the guardian of destiny, guided Arthur through the initial shock and responsibility that came with his newfound role. Arthur's humility and innate sense of justice began to shine, earning him the loyalty of those who once doubted him. Merlin, knowing that Arthur's journey had just begun, decided to train him in the arts of leadership, warfare, and wisdom. The wizard took Arthur to the ancient and mystical forest of Avalon, where he introduced him to the Lady of the Lake. In the heart of Avalon's shimmering waters, the lady bestowed upon Arthur the legendary sword Excalibur, a blade forged with the power of ancient magic. With Excalibur in his grasp, Arthur felt a surge of strength and responsibility. The sword symbolized not only his right to rule, but also the immense challenges he would face. Back in Camelot, Arthur faced his first test as king. Rival lords and chieftains, unwilling to accept his authority, rose against him. With Merlin's guidance and Excalibur's might, Arthur led his forces into battle. His courage and strategic brilliance on the battlefield earned him the respect and admiration of his knights. One by one, the rebellious lords bent the knee, swearing fealty to their new king. Camelot, once a dream, began to take shape under Arthur's visionary leadership. Arthur's next challenge was to establish a court that would stand as a beacon of justice and chivalry. Inspired by his own experiences of fairness and equality, he decided to create the Round Table, where each knight, regardless of rank or status, would have an equal voice. The Round Table became a symbol of unity and brotherhood, attracting the greatest knights from across the realm. Among them were the valiant Sir Lancelot, the wise Sir Gawain, and the loyal Sir Percival. Together, they formed a fellowship dedicated to upholding the ideals of chivalry and defending the realm. As Camelot flourished, Arthur's reputation as a just and noble king spread far and wide. Tales of his wisdom, bravery, and the enchantment of Excalibur reached even the furthest corners of the land. Yet Arthur remained humble, ever mindful of the prophecy that had brought him to power. He knew that his journey was far from over, and that greater trials awaited him. With the support of his knights and the guidance of Merlin, Arthur stood ready to face whatever destiny had in store. Arthur's vision for Camelot was not merely a kingdom of stone and mortar, but a realm founded on principles of justice, honor, and unity. To bring this vision to life, he knew he needed to surround himself with men of valor and integrity. Thus, the idea of the Round Table was born. Unlike any other court, the Round Table symbolized equality and brotherhood. No seat was placed at the head, for in this circle, every knight was equal, bound by a common pledge to protect the realm and uphold the virtues of chivalry. The first to join Arthur's cause were the mightiest and most noble knights of the land. Sir Lancelot, known for his unmatched skill in combat and unwavering loyalty, became one of Arthur's closest confidants. Sir Gawain, a paragon of honor and wisdom, brought a sense of justice and fairness to the table. Sir Percival, whose purity of heart and quest for the Holy Grail would later become legendary, added a spiritual dimension to their fellowship. Each knight brought unique strengths, creating a formidable force dedicated to Camelot's ideals. As the knights gathered, Arthur laid down the code of chivalry, a set of principles that would guide their actions. They pledged to protect the innocent, uphold justice, and show mercy to the weak. They vowed to be honest, loyal, and to seek adventure not for personal gain, but for the greater good. This code became the cornerstone of the Round Table, inspiring the knights to live by a higher standard and to serve as exemplars for the people of Camelot. The formation of the Round Table marked the beginning of a golden age for Camelot. Under Arthur's leadership, the kingdom became a beacon of peace and prosperity. The knights embarked on quests that took them to distant lands, facing dragons, sorcerers, and other perils, always with the goal of bringing back knowledge, treasure, or relics to benefit their homeland. Their exploits became the stuff of legend, celebrated in songs and stories that echoed through the halls of Camelot and beyond. Yet even as Camelot thrived, Arthur remained vigilant. He understood that the greatest threats often came from within, and that unity required constant nurturing. He held regular councils at the Round Table, encouraging open dialogue and ensuring that every knight's voice was heard. This practice not only strengthened their bonds, but also allowed them to address conflicts and challenges collectively. Through these efforts, Arthur forged a brotherhood that would stand the test of time, a testament to his vision of a kingdom built on equality, justice, and camaraderie. As Camelot reached the height of its glory, the quest for the Holy Grail emerged as the ultimate test of the knight's devotion and purity. The Grail, a sacred relic believed to hold divine power, promised not only spiritual enlightenment, but also the continued prosperity of the kingdom. The appearance of the Grail in a vision at the Round Table ignited a fervor among the knights, each driven by a personal desire to achieve this holy quest. Arthur, recognizing the importance of the Grail, blessed their journey, knowing that only the purest of heart would succeed. The knights set forth on their individual quests, each facing unique trials that tested their character and resolve. Sir Lancelot, despite his unmatched prowess, struggled with his inner demons and unrequited love for Queen Guinevere. His journey was one of redemption and self-discovery, as he sought forgiveness for his transgressions. Sir Percival, known for his innocence and purity, faced temptations that challenged his faith and determination. His unwavering belief in the righteousness of the quest guided him through the darkest trials. Sir Galahad, the epitome of chivalry and virtue, emerged as the knight most likely to succeed. Born of Lancelot and Elaine, Galahad's purity and unwavering commitment to God made him the perfect vessel for the Grail. His journey was marked by divine interventions and miraculous events as he remained steadfast in his pursuit. Galahad's quest was not only for the Grail, but also for the redemption of his father Lancelot. His success would signify a spiritual awakening for all of Camelot. As the knights ventured deeper into their quests, they encountered various mystical and perilous challenges. Some faced dragons, others treacherous sorcerers, and many confronted their own inner darkness. Each trial served as a crucible, forging their characters and bringing them closer to the divine truth embodied by the Grail. These adventures, filled with peril and wonder, captivated the hearts of those who remained in Camelot, eagerly awaiting news of their heroes. In the end, it was Sir Galahad who achieved the ultimate victory, finding the Holy Grail and experiencing a vision of divine grace. His purity and unwavering faith allowed him to drink from the sacred cup, granting him a glimpse of the divine and ensuring the Grail's blessing upon Camelot. However, this triumph came at a cost. Galahad, having fulfilled his destiny, was taken to heaven, leaving behind a legacy of virtue and sacrifice. The quest for the Holy Grail, though successful, marked the beginning of the end for the golden age of Camelot, as the knights returned home forever changed by their journey. Amidst the glory of Camelot and the chivalric pursuits of the knights, a deep and tragic love triangle began to unfold, threatening the very foundation of the kingdom. King Arthur, in his wisdom and nobility, married the beautiful Queen Guinevere, believing that their union would bring strength and stability to Camelot. Guinevere, though deeply respectful and fond of Arthur, found her heart inexplicably drawn to Sir Lancelot, Arthur's most trusted and loyal knight. This unspoken bond between Guinevere and Lancelot set the stage for a story of love, loyalty, and betrayal. Lancelot, torn between his duty to Arthur and his love for Guinevere, struggled with his emotions. His loyalty to Arthur and the ideals of the Round Table clashed with his growing affection for the Queen. Despite their best efforts to remain true to their oaths, the attraction between Guinevere and Lancelot deepened. Their secret meetings, filled with stolen glances and whispered words, became increasingly difficult to hide, casting a shadow over Camelot's golden age. As their love grew, so did the rumors and suspicions among the knights and courtiers. Sir Mordred, Arthur's illegitimate son and a master of deceit, saw an opportunity to exploit this forbidden love to his advantage. He whispered seeds of doubt and betrayal into the ears of those who would listen, slowly unraveling the trust that held Arthur's court together. The tension reached its peak when Mordred orchestrated a trap, catching Lancelot and Guinevere in a compromising situation. The revelation of their affair shook Camelot to its core. Arthur, heartbroken and torn between his love for Guinevere and his duty as king, faced an impossible decision. To maintain the law, he was compelled to sentence Guinevere to death for her betrayal. Lancelot, driven by love and honor, rescued her from the execution, sparking a civil war within Camelot. The once united knights of the Round Table were now divided, forced to choose sides between their king and their fellow knight. The ensuing conflict devastated Camelot, leading to a series of battles that weakened the kingdom's strength and morale. Lancelot, unable to reconcile his love for Guinevere with his loyalty to Arthur, ultimately chose exile. Guinevere, stricken with guilt and grief, sought solace in a convent, dedicating her life to repentance and prayer. Arthur, left to pick up the pieces of his shattered realm, faced the greatest test of his kingship. The love triangle that had once been a source of joy and passion had now become the catalyst for Camelot's downfall, a poignant reminder of the complexities of love, loyalty, and fate. As the bonds of Camelot weakened and the kingdom struggled to maintain its former glory, the seeds of betrayal planted by Mordred began to bear fruit. Mordred, Arthur's illegitimate son, harbored a deep-seated resentment towards his father. He believed that he deserved a place of power and recognition, feeling overshadowed by the Knights of the Round Table and the legacy of his father. Mordred's ambition and cunning made him a dangerous adversary, one who would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. Mordred's betrayal began subtly, as he gained the trust of those disillusioned by the recent turmoil in Camelot. He manipulated the knights' fears and doubts, sowing discord and mistrust. Mordred's charismatic and persuasive nature allowed him to build a faction loyal to him, ready to challenge Arthur's authority. Under the guise of restoring order and stability, Mordred positioned himself as the champion of those who felt neglected and betrayed by the current regime. The tipping point came when Arthur, unaware of the full extent of Mordred's treachery, left Camelot to battle an invading force. Seizing the opportunity, Mordred declared himself king, claiming that Arthur had died in battle. His followers, emboldened by his bold move, rallied to his side, and Camelot descended into chaos. Mordred's rule was marked by tyranny and fear, as he sought to consolidate his power and eliminate any opposition. Arthur, upon learning of Mordred's betrayal, returned to Camelot with a heavy heart. The once glorious kingdom he had built was now a battleground, torn apart by civil war. Arthur's knights, divided in their loyalties, faced the difficult choice of fighting against their former comrades or standing with their rightful king. The final confrontation between Arthur and Mordred loomed, a tragic culmination of the internal strife that had plagued Camelot. The Battle of Camlann, fought on the blood-soaked fields of Britain, marked the climax of this bitter struggle. Arthur, wielding Excalibur, faced Mordred in a duel that would decide the fate of the kingdom. The clash of steel echoed across the battlefield as father and son fought with all their might. In a final devastating blow, Arthur mortally wounded Mordred, but not before suffering a grievous injury himself. The prophecy that had foretold Arthur's rise now seemed to echo his fall, as Camelot's greatest king lay dying, betrayed by his own blood. The Battle of Camlann, the final and most devastating conflict in Arthur's reign, unfolded under a sky heavy with the weight of destiny. The forces of King Arthur and Mordred clashed in a brutal and unrelenting struggle, each side fighting not only for victory, but for the soul of Camelot. The battlefield was a chaotic mix of armored knights, flashing swords, and the cries of the wounded, a stark contrast to the serene halls of Camelot. Arthur, despite his injury, led his men with unwavering determination, his presence a beacon of hope amidst the carnage. As the battle raged, the bond between Arthur and his knights shone through their actions. Sir Lancelot, despite his exile, returned to aid his king in this final hour. Sir Gawain, loyal to the end, fought valiantly beside Arthur, their shared history and camaraderie fueling their resolve. The Knights of the Round Table, though fewer in number, fought with the strength and honor that had defined Camelot's golden age. Their bravery and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds underscored the enduring legacy of Arthur's vision. Amidst the chaos, Arthur and Mordred found themselves face to face, the culmination of their intertwined destinies. The duel between them was fierce and relentless, each blow a testament to their respective wills. Mordred, driven by ambition and resentment, fought with a ferocity that belied his youth. Arthur, embodying the ideals of chivalry and justice, matched his son's intensity with every strike. The clash of Excalibur against Mordred's blade was the sound of history itself, echoing through the ages. In the final moments of the duel, Arthur delivered a fatal blow to Mordred, but not before receiving a mortal wound in return. As Mordred fell, the battlefield seemed to pause, the significance of the moment sinking in. Arthur, gravely injured, was carried from the field by his loyal knights, their grief palpable. The death of Mordred marked the end of the immediate threat, but the cost of victory was staggering. The once mighty Camelot was left in ruins, its future uncertain. As the dust settled, Arthur's knights gathered around their fallen king, their hearts heavy with sorrow. In his final moments, Arthur's thoughts turned to Avalon, the mystical isle of healing and refuge. He knew that his time on Earth was ending, but the legend of King Arthur would live on. In a solemn and somber procession, Arthur was carried to the shores of Avalon, where the Lady of the Lake awaited to take him to his final rest. The Battle of Camlann, a tragic yet heroic chapter in Arthurian lore, marked the end of an era and the beginning of a legend that would endure for centuries. As Arthur lay dying, his loyal knights carried him to the shores of Avalon, the mystical isle shrouded in mist and legend. The journey to Avalon was both a farewell and a testament to the bond between the king and his knights. The Lady of the Lake, ever watchful, awaited their arrival, ready to take Arthur into her care. As the boat carrying the wounded king disappeared into the mist, a profound silence fell over the land, marking the end of Arthur's reign and the beginning of his eternal legend. Avalon, a realm beyond the reach of mortal men, was said to possess healing powers capable of mending even the gravest of wounds. It was here that Arthur's body was laid to rest, his soul entrusted to the care of the mystical beings who dwelled there. The promise of Avalon was not merely one of healing, but of eventual return. The prophecy that had guided Arthur's life spoke of a time when Britain would once again need its greatest king, and Arthur would rise from his slumber to lead his people in their hour of need. Back in Camelot, the knights and people mourned the loss of their king. The once great kingdom now stood as a symbol of both hope and tragedy, its halls echoing with the memories of Arthur's rule. The Round Table, now incomplete, served as a poignant reminder of the unity and brotherhood that had defined Camelot. Yet, even in their grief, the people held on to the belief that Arthur's spirit lived on, and that his legacy would continue to inspire future generations. The legend of Arthur's return became a beacon of hope for Britain. Tales of the once and future kings spread far and wide, capturing the imagination of all who heard them. Bards and storytellers wove intricate narratives of Arthur's deeds and the promise of his return, ensuring that his legacy would endure. The stories of Arthur, Merlin, and the Knights of the Round Table transcended time, becoming a part of the cultural fabric of Britain and beyond. As centuries passed, the legend of King Arthur continued to evolve, each generation adding its own layer of myth and meaning. The enduring belief in Arthur's return speaks to the timeless nature of his story. He represents the ideals of courage, justice, and unity that humanity strives for, and his legend serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope remains. The tale of King Arthur, from his miraculous birth to his fated journey to Avalon, remains one of the most powerful and enduring legends in history.